Hi everybody, it's Nikki again, and I'm here to do a video that's my personal experience, not to be used as medical advice. And really, today's video is just about my what I'm seeing in auto mode this time around. I've gone back to auto after over a year, I think, of being out of it. And I was really going in for a couple different reasons. One is to see if anything changed. And so far I'm thinking nothing has. And then two was also because I do have a big Facebook group. We do a lot of talk about auto mode, and I do have a lot to say about it. So I wanted to make sure that all was still up to date, and that I wasn't talking out of my butt. And I might still be, but anyway. So I'm currently on day 15 of being back in. I had planned on going back in for 2 weeks. I am still in, and the only reason I'm still in is because the first week was really more impressive than I thought. Not the first 3 days. The first 3 days I went in and I got back out every time I needed a correction, and I just felt like I was constantly chasing something, and it felt disorganized and it was unpleasant. Around day 3.5, day 4, I decided what I really needed to do was pay some attention to it because there was no point in handling it the way I was handling it. So I got in and began to track my microboluses. And from the very beginning, what I saw in the microboluses was really interesting, and it was way different than what I remember from my last time in auto mode, and that is because I was receiving a ton of insulin in auto mode. Now, the thing I don't know is what I received in the beginning of my last trip to auto mode, and there is some possibility. I didn't dislike auto mode from the very beginning, so there's some possibility that auto mode starts off strong, and as it learns and as it responds to itself, because that's my theory, it kind of weakens itself. And as of day 15, I believe I really am seeing that. So it's possible I got strong delivery in the beginning of the last trip. I just don't know. So anyway, so I did start off strong, and I am still in it because now I've seen its potential, and I can see maybe why people like it, because I go, wow, it really can deliver some insulin, and I did not know that about this. So it's enough potential to say, okay, now let's just see what happens if I tweak something. And I'm going to tweak something, and then I think I'm going to be done because I think I already don't want to do it, and I'll explain why. Okay, so I figured I would tell you guys about day 10. The days are completely random. There's been a lot going on at my house and a lot going on in my world. So I did not do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and whatever. So we're going to pick at random day 10, and the reason I'm doing day 10, that was on September 28th, and that was a Friday. And the reason I had decided to do this one was because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and really Monday as well, I exercise right around midday for about a half an hour and at moderate intensity, but enough to drop my blood sugar about 100 points. So the reason this is significant is because the first couple of days in auto, I had suspended auto in order to do my exercise, right? With the idea that auto can see your sugar drop, your blood sugar drop, and if you can't explain to it why it's happened, it might confuse it and think that you need less insulin the next day. So I decided to suspend for the first couple of days while I was in, and that really did work well. However, this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, my blood sugar was already on the rise from periods of minimum delivery. And so by the time I could exercise, I was already at around a 200. So I did not want to suspend at that point because I was afraid it was really going to push me over the top. I also didn't want to do a correction bolus. I wasn't sure about this, but I didn't want to do a correction bolus and put 2 units on board right as I start to exercise because I really wanted to do a little exercise. So it was kind of a dilemma. So I decided I would just let the exercise bring down my blood sugar and take my chances that maybe auto was going to learn something, that wasn't fully accurate. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, between around 11:30 and around 1:30, I think was the exercise period, maybe 2 o'clock. On Friday, and that's day 10. On Friday, I had a completely different schedule, and that's because my mom was in for a big surgery, so I was going to go sit in the hospital with her while she had her surgery done. There was no exercise, and I brought a whole bunch of snack food because that is what I do in the hospital, but there was really no opportunity to eat anything because my blood sugar began to rise. And even with corrections and everything, it just continued to rise. So I thought this was really interesting because what it appeared without calculating my microboluses, because I did not calculate them, but just to watch my blood sugar, it rose and it rose and it rose up to a 400. And I did do, corrections all day. And my only problem with getting out of auto mode in order to do a correction was my calibration factor was staying very high. And I knew if I got out, I wasn't going to get back in again. So I figured, okay, auto mode has shown me some really good, strong insulin delivery. I can do my corrections and I can just see what happens. And it did not work well. And, I spent a couple of hours above a 300 and really probably a couple of hours above a 400. Ended up trying to change my sensor that night and get back into auto. And then I had sensor problems. And I could not get back into auto. So that was that. And I did say about it. So here's the thing. So let's say auto did learn about me on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday that my blood sugar is going to drop 100 points. And let's say Friday morning it lays off the insulin. It hits the brakes on the insulin to help me avoid that hypoglycemia. It's, not a bad, has no bad intentions. However, where does it leave me? I cannot keep the same schedule. I would love to, but I just can't. And I have no way of communicating to it what's going on. So how am I supposed to handle auto mode if it's tracking what I'm doing and predicting based on my daily information? And I say it's tough. That's a tough thing. So I have been talked into, and I've mentioned this a couple times, either an AIT change or an ICR change. I am going to pick one and do it. And I think actually tonight I'll probably start with one. I have some reservations about that as well. And mainly, my number one reservation is if auto mode started off as strong as it did, and if auto mode showed me what it could deliver, and now it's backing off, if I increase its ability, its potential to deliver even more insulin, when it's already shown me it can deliver plenty, it's just choosing not to, then am I fixing anything, or am I really just giving it more power than what it should have? That's my deep thought for the night, and I'm going to sign off here and maybe try to do a day 15, and then I'm going to go set off. I'm going to start going to add up my microboluses, and I'm going to take a look at what the difference was in the first week that I've been in and the last 4 or 5 days, where I think I'm getting half of the insulin I got in the beginning. Anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good day. Bye.